Hey y'all, welcome to Horse Range Mountain Farm. So today I'm canning more green beans. And the reason I'm canning more green beans is a couple of years ago I had canned a bunch of green beans, but they were bush beans and we did not like those. So I didn't want to clean them out until I had some to replace them with. So they're not going to be wasted though. We're going to feed them to our chickens. We just don't want to eat them ourselves because we just do not like the flavor or the texture of them. We're so used to our pole beans, so that's what we're canning, is some more pole beans. So I wanted to learn to can once I had our oldest son, which is Isaac. Whenever he was about 8-9 months old, I told my mom, I was like, Mom, I really want to learn how to can, because if something happens to you or my aunts, I said, I'm not going to know how to can and put up for my family. And I feel that it's very important for every young lady or woman to know how to can and put up for her family, because if times got really hard, this would be a way that you would know how to provide for your family and preserve food, so then you would never worry and you would just know that you had to grow a garden in order to preserve. Now everybody always worries about, oh my gosh, I'm so scared to learn to can because the canner could blow up. Well, the chances of that happening are usually very, very slim. And most of the time a canner would blow up is if somebody didn't have the gasket on right, or they walked away and forgot that the canner was going and it exceeded the pressure that it needed to build up. And so at first, whenever I first started learning, I was a little bit scared just because my mom was like, now be careful because it could blow up. But as I did it over the years, I just got more comfortable with it, and I've never had that happen except for I had a little bitty canner, and I'll show it to you in just a minute once I get all this salt in here. And I ran outside, and I was just cooking a mess of green beans, and I ran outside and left it going, and I thought, well, it'll be just fine for me to run out there and pick this out of the garden and come back. Well, I wasn't out there very long, but what happened is the little rubber gasket on the side of it, and I'll show that to you in a minute too, it was so old that it shot out, and whenever it shot out, I had beans and juice everywhere underneath the range there. And if I would have been in here and it would have gotten on me, it may have burned me, but most of the time you can hear the different sound and what the canners are making, so it kind of gives you an idea. But as long as you stay right with them, usually there's no issues. But like I said, that was an old canner, so if you have an old canner, you want to check all the parts and make sure that they're intact. Now I have a video on how to can green beans, so I'll try to link it, so then if you want to go see how to can green beans, that you can. So I have these ready. Now I'm just going to add my water. Now, if you want to learn to can, the best thing to start with, in my opinion, is green beans, because they're so simple. And green beans, especially if you do the pole beans, they will keep producing as long as you keep picking until frost. So they're really good. You can put a lot of them up for your family, and we just love green beans. Now sure, it's easy to run to the store and just get some beans, but y'all, they don't taste anything like homegrown green beans. And the way that I used to do these is I would just pour them out of the can, and I was like, Mom, mine don't taste like yours and my mother-in-law's. I was like, what are you doing different? So what I did is I just stood there and watched her, and then I knew exactly what I was doing wrong. You know, those mamas always have a little secret that they don't tell you, and you have to just watch them to figure it out. Now, some of our lids have just a little bit of rust on them, but it doesn't hurt anything, as long as they're not too rusty. If they're too rusty, then I throw them away. But we use them until we can't use them anymore. You know, I like to think about the way they would do things back in the old days and how they preserved things and used stuff until they couldn't use it anymore. We are kind of or well, we're not kind of, we're really spoiled, and a lot of us are used to just throwing stuff away, but we waste a lot of money that way. So it's best to use stuff until you can't use it anymore. That's what our ancestors did. Now I'm going to show you that little pressure cooker that cooks just a mess of beans in a minute. And when we say a mess of beans, that means just enough for one meal. Alright, now we'll get these in the pressure cooker. And y'all, this is the pressure cooker that I found for $25 at the thrift store, that I had an extra jiggler, and this thing works great. I love it. My other favorite canner is my All-American canner too, that a friend, she had quit canning, and so she gave it to me. So I felt very blessed to get that, because those are very expensive canners, but I really like it because they don't have like the little rubber gaskets under here. They just have like the little things that you pull up and screw down. So I really like it. And like I said though, I've got 6 canners now. And so what I do is I can fit 3 on this stove and get them going, move those 3 off, put 3 more on, so I'm able to get a lot canned in a short period of time. So I've got to go ahead and load this one. And this is my All-American canner. I'll have to do a video to show everybody the difference between all the canners. So while we're waiting on these to build pressure, I'm going to tell you about the one that I told you that I stepped outside and then I came back and there was like beans in there and juice everywhere. So normally on these little canners, which this is just for a mess of beans, you have these little rubber gaskets. And as you can see, they come through the bottom. And so they're wider on the bottom than on the top. Well, this was the older canner. My mom picked it up for me, I think at like a flea market or yard sale or something like that. Well, apparently this little gasket was old and probably dry rotted, and I didn't check it because I'd cooked in it for a long time and never had any issues, and I just didn't think to look at it. And like I said, I stepped outside to pick a few things out of the garden, just like a tomato and cucumber to go with supper that night. Ran back in and it had blowed that rubber gasket out, and there was beans and juice everywhere that I had to clean up. So if you get an older canner, make sure to check those. You can order these little parts too online, so I just need to order that one. But and that happened a couple years ago, but I was at the thrift store and I ran across this one, so I just went ahead and got it because I think it was only like $3 or $4, so I just went ahead and got it. But I do want to order another one of these, and I wouldn't get rid of it because this was my first one that my mom got me, and I love it because it's the perfect size. And this one's a little bit bigger, but I really like the smaller one because it's the perfect size for a good mess of beans. This one actually, when you cook in this one, if you cook in this one, it will actually make enough for 2 nights. Even for a big family, you can see. I guess you probably could do more than that, but I never do more than just for a couple of nights in that one. But anyways, I wanted to show y'all that because I was like, oh my gosh. And Nathan's like, you shouldn't have left that running while you were outside. But I said, well, I just ran out there to grab a tomato and cucumber. So, but anyways, so I had to tell y'all that story. And like I said, don't let worrying about a canner exploding on you deter you from learning how to can and put up for your family. Because for us moms, it's very important for us to make sure that we have food in our pantries for our children. So y'all remember that, and y'all go learn how to can if you don't know how. Y'all have a blessed day. Don't forget to hit that like, share, and subscribe, and come back for more videos. Isaiah chapter 41 verse 10. Fear thou not, for I am with thee. Be not dismayed, for I am thy God. I will strengthen thee, yea, I will help thee, yea, I will uphold thee with the right hand of my righteousness.